Is it a little hole? Is it a big hole? What kind of feature is it down there? There's a whole lot of questions you get when you find this one spectacular reading.
Beneath the crushing pressure and total darkness of the ocean lies a place so mysterious it has haunted scientists for years. Deep in the Puerto Rico Trench, something unsettling stirs. When researchers sent a deep-sea drone to explore, what they captured wasn't just footage, it was proof that this place is alive, hiding secrets that no one expected. Strange movements, eerie sounds, and an unnatural glow sent chills down the crew's spine. What's down there doesn't want to be found.
Something strange is happening in the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point in the Atlantic.
Somewhere far beyond the reach of the sun's rays, where human beings hardly ever go, to the depths of the ocean.
The trench is situated just north of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, spanning more than 500 miles. Its deepest point plunges over 8.4 kilometers, about 5.2 miles below sea level, making it the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean. To put this into perspective, if you were to drop Mount Everest into the Puerto Rico Trench, the peak of the mountain would still remain submerged. Its depth alone is an astonishing feature, but the trench's most intriguing characteristic is not its size. It's what lies within it that has captivated researchers and scientists for years.
Until recently, more human beings have flown to the moon than have dived to the deepest spot on Earth.
What was that moment like for you?
It was just wonderful to be in one of the most remote places on the planet with a vehicle of my own construction.
What makes the Puerto Rico Trench particularly significant is that it lies at the meeting point of two powerful tectonic plates, the North American plate and the Caribbean plate. These plates are constantly shifting, grinding, and moving, which makes the region not only prone to natural disasters, but also an important area of study for those trying to understand Earth's seismic activity. The pressure and tension created by these movements have led to some of the most powerful earthquakes in the Caribbean's history. For instance, the earthquake that struck Puerto Rico in 1918 originated from this very trench, triggering a massive tsunami that claimed the lives of over 100 people. This ongoing tectonic activity, along with the trench's extreme depth, makes it a region of particular interest to scientists studying earthquakes and oceanic phenomena. But despite its significance, the Puerto Rico Trench has been largely overlooked for decades. When it comes to deep-sea exploration, much of the focus has gone to other regions of the world's oceans, particularly the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench, known for being the deepest point on Earth, has often been viewed as the ultimate frontier for oceanic research, with major funding and international interest dedicated to exploring it. Meanwhile, the Puerto Rico Trench, while geographically closer to populated areas and accessible to researchers, has remained a mystery, hidden in the shadows of other famous underwater regions. One reason the Puerto Rico Trench has been left relatively unexplored is its proximity to land. Unlike the remote and faraway Mariana Trench, the Puerto Rico Trench is located near populated areas, including Puerto Rico itself, and busy shipping lanes. The idea of venturing into such a potentially dangerous and unstable area has not been as appealing as exploring more isolated and uninhabited parts of the world's oceans. Its depth and the inherent risks involved in conducting research in the trench made it a place that many researchers avoided. The steep and unstable terrain, combined with the immense pressure found at such depths, made it a daunting challenge for any deep-sea mission. However, the idea that the Puerto Rico Trench is a less important site for scientific exploration has been challenged in recent years. As technology has advanced and new research methods have emerged, the trench has begun to receive more attention. The seismic risks in the region, including frequent tremors and the possibility of catastrophic earthquakes or tsunamis, have led to a renewed interest in studying the trench's geological activity. Researchers have begun to recognize that the Puerto Rico Trench may be just as active, if not more so, than the Mariana Trench. Despite its relative obscurity, the trench has been the site of significant discoveries in recent years, especially following advancements in deep-sea exploration technology. For decades, Researchers have had to rely on surface-level data or occasional expeditions to study the trench, but modern sonar mapping, submersible vehicles, and remote sensors have allowed scientists to gain a much clearer picture of what lies beneath the surface. One of the most important findings from recent exploration missions has been the identification of the trench's deepest point, the Milwaukee Deep. This discovery has helped scientists better understand the depth and structure of the Puerto Rico Trench, which until then had remained shrouded in mystery. Located more than 27,000 feet below the surface, the Milwaukee Deep is deeper than many parts of the Pacific Ocean and ranks as one of the top 10 deepest points on the planet. This discovery alone has shifted the scientific community's focus toward the Puerto Rico Trench, opening up new possibilities for research into oceanic depth and the forces at work within the Earth's crust. The region's geology is another factor that has drawn increasing attention. Unlike the Mariana Trench, which primarily involves the subduction of one plate beneath another, the Puerto Rico Trench is far more complex. It features both subduction and strike-slip faulting, which means that the tectonic plates are not only grinding together, but also moving sideways. This type of movement, rarely seen in other parts of the world, creates enormous pressure and has the potential to result in sudden and violent geological events. Researchers are increasingly focused on understanding how this complex tectonic activity shapes the trench and how it might contribute to the region's seismic instability. The trench's proximity to human populations adds another layer of urgency to studying the area. While the Mariana Trench is located in a remote part of the Pacific Ocean, far from populated landmasses, the Puerto Rico Trench lies just north of Puerto Rico, a major Caribbean island with a population of over 3 million people. The region is surrounded by busy shipping lanes and numerous coastal cities, making the potential impact of any seismic event in the trench far more immediate and far-reaching. An earthquake or tsunami, originating from the Puerto Rico Trench, could have devastating consequences, not just for Puerto Rico, but for the entire eastern Caribbean and even parts of the United States East Coast. This threat has not gone unnoticed. In fact, it has led to the development of improved tsunami warning systems and better preparedness strategies for coastal regions around the trench. But even with this progress, the trench remains a source of mystery. The challenge of understanding its geology and potential risks has prompted a surge in scientific missions aimed at studying the area, particularly since the early 2000s. As exploration has progressed, scientists have uncovered not only the trench's geological secrets, but also a series of disturbing phenomena that hint at even deeper, more unsettling mysteries. Researchers who have ventured into the trench have reported strange sounds, mysterious movements, and even unexpected bioluminescent activity, all of which point to the fact that the Puerto Rico Trench is a far more active and unpredictable region than anyone previously imagined. This emerging picture of the trench as a dynamic, unstable, and potentially dangerous zone has made it clear that our understanding of this part of the ocean is still in its early stages. The Puerto Rico Trench is far from the quiet, lifeless abyss that many once thought it was. Instead, it has become one of the most fascinating and crucial areas of study for those interested in understanding the deep-sea environment and the forces that shape our planet. The Puerto Rico Trench is not just another deep-sea location. It's a complex and volatile geological feature that plays a critical role in shaping the landscape of the Atlantic Ocean. Situated where two massive tectonic plates, the North American Plate and the Caribbean Plate, meet, the trench is subject to constant geological activity that makes it one of the most seismically active regions in the world. Unlike other deep-sea trenches that are less prone to major geological movements, the Puerto Rico Trench is a zone of ongoing tectonic interactions, where the Earth's plates are not just colliding but also sliding against each other. This unique geological setting results in frequent seismic events, including earthquakes and tsunamis, that can have a profound impact on the surrounding region. The Puerto Rico Trench is located at the intersection of these two tectonic plates, and this is what makes it particularly unstable. The North American plate and the Caribbean plate are not still, they are in constant motion. The movements of these plates are responsible for the region's high seismic activity. As the plates grind, slide, or collide against one another, tension builds, and eventually, it is released in the form of earthquakes. This is why the Puerto Rico Trench has been the source of some of the most destructive seismic events in the Caribbean. Over the past centuries, the trench has been the site of numerous earthquakes, some of which have triggered tsunamis that impacted nearby coastal areas. The most devastating earthquake linked to the Puerto Rico Trench occurred in 1918, when a massive seismic event struck near Puerto Rico. The earthquake generated a tsunami that devastated the western coast of the island, resulting in the deaths of over 100 people and leaving many others injured or displaced. This tragic event underscored the immense power of the trench and the region's vulnerability to seismic activity. Despite this, the Puerto Rico Trench remained relatively underexplored for many years, and the risks associated with the area were not fully understood by the general public. It was not until more recent years, as scientific understanding advanced, that the region began to attract the attention it deserved. One of the key reasons for the lack of exploration in the Puerto Rico Trench was the sheer difficulty of studying such an area. The trench's immense depth, combined with the unstable nature of the seafloor, pose significant challenges for researchers. Unlike more accessible oceanic regions, the Puerto Rico Trench's terrain is steep and unpredictable, with sharp underwater cliffs and ridges that make it dangerous for both human and robotic explorers. The pressure at the bottom of the trench is also incredibly high, which further complicates any attempt to study the area in detail. This makes it one of the most difficult places on Earth to explore, and for a long time, it seemed easier to focus efforts on more well-known and accessible regions of the world's oceans. Another reason the Puerto Rico Trench remained largely unexplored for many years was the lack of funding and scientific focus. During the early stages of deep-sea exploration, limited resources meant that only a select few areas could be studied in depth. The Mariana Trench, for example, became the focal point for deep-sea exploration because of its extreme depth and unique geological features. As the world's deepest known trench, the Mariana Trench attracted the attention of major research organizations, film directors, and deep-sea explorers, who poured resources into studying its mysteries. The Puerto Rico Trench, on the other hand, received far less attention, despite its own geological importance. This lack of focus on the Puerto Rico Trench meant that very few expeditions were made, and for decades, scientists knew little about what lay at the bottom of the trench. However, in recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the Puerto Rico Trench's importance in understanding the Earth's geological processes. Advances in technology, including sonar mapping, submersible vehicles, and remote sensing equipment, have allowed scientists to study the trench in ways that were previously impossible. These tools have made it possible to map the seafloor in greater detail and to capture high-resolution images of the trench's geological features. In 2002 and 2003, a team of scientists from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, conducted one of the first major research missions into the trench. The goal of these expeditions was to gather more information about the trench's geological characteristics, including its depth, terrain, and tectonic activity. During these missions, scientists used high-tech sonar systems to create detailed maps of the trench's floor and surrounding area. They discovered that the trench is not only deep but also incredibly complex. The floor of the Puerto Rico Trench is full of steep slopes, unpredictable ridges, and sharp underwater cliffs, making it difficult to study and navigate. Despite these challenges, the research team was able to identify the trench's deepest point, known as the Milwaukee Deep. This discovery confirmed that the Puerto Rico Trench is not just another deep area in the Atlantic, but a major geological feature that plays a significant role in shaping the region's seismic activity. The identification of the Milwaukee Deep was a groundbreaking discovery. At a depth of more than 27,000 feet, it is deeper than many parts of the Pacific Ocean and ranks among the top 10 deepest points on the planet. This finding helped scientists better understand the trench's structure and provided a fixed target for future research missions. The discovery of the Milwaukee Deep also had implications for the study of Earth's crust and the forces that shape our planet. It demonstrated that the Puerto Rico Trench is far more than just a deep abyss. It is a key site for understanding the geological processes that occur beneath the Earth's surface. In addition to the discovery of the Milwaukee Deep, the 2002 and 2003 missions also revealed the presence of a massive fault system running along the trench floor. This fault system is similar to the San Andreas Fault in California, one of the most well-known fault lines in the world. The fact that a similar fault system exists in the Puerto Rico Trench suggests that the region is prone to frequent seismic activity, including earthquakes. This discovery was significant because it helped explain why the trench has been the source of so many powerful earthquakes over the years. It also raised concerns about the potential for future seismic events in the region, particularly as the population of Puerto Rico and nearby areas continues to grow. The findings from these early research missions have led to a greater understanding of the Puerto Rico Trench and its seismic risks. The region's geological activity is now seen as a major area of concern for both scientists and governments. The trench's proximity to populated areas including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands means that any significant seismic event in the trench could have far-reaching consequences. A major earthquake or tsunami could cause widespread damage to coastal areas, affecting millions of people. As a result, researchers have been working to improve tsunami warning systems and earthquake preparedness plans for the region, ensuring that people are better equipped to respond to any potential disasters. The Puerto Rico Trench continues to be a subject of intense scientific interest, and as technology improves, more discoveries are expected. The trench is a highly dynamic and unstable area, and its geological activity has the potential to provide valuable insights into the processes that shape the Earth's crust. Despite the challenges of exploring such a dangerous and inaccessible region, scientists are eager to learn more about the trench and its potential impact on the surrounding areas. With each new discovery, the mystery of the Puerto Rico Trench deepens, and the urgency to study it grows. As scientists continue to explore the trench, they are uncovering new information about the forces that govern the Earth's geological processes. The Puerto Rico Trench may be one of the last unexplored frontiers of the ocean, but it is clear that it holds many secrets that could help scientists better understand the planet's dynamic nature. With each new mission, researchers are pushing the boundaries of what we know about the Earth's hidden depths, and the Puerto Rico Trench is emerging as a key location in this quest for knowledge. The Puerto Rico Trench, with its deep and unstable geological structure, remained a mystery for centuries, largely untouched and unexplored. It was not until the early 2000s that modern technology and a renewed focus on deep-sea research allowed scientists to explore this enigmatic region in detail. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) led the charge in these early explorations, and between 2002 and 2003, they conducted the first major research expeditions to the trench. These missions aimed to map the trench's ocean floor and uncover the geological processes at play beneath the surface. What these scientists found would dramatically alter our understanding of this part of the ocean and challenge the previously held assumptions about the region's significance. Before these expeditions, the Puerto Rico Trench had been largely overlooked in favor of other more famous deep-sea trenches, such as the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench, located in the Pacific Ocean, has long been considered the ultimate frontier of oceanic exploration, due to its extreme depth and the mysterious life forms it contains. The Puerto Rico Trench, though significant, had never received the same attention, possibly due to its proximity to populated areas, as well as its relative inaccessibility, due to the difficult terrain and high pressure at the trench's deepest points. However, With the advancement of deep-sea exploration technology, including sonar mapping, submersible vehicles, and remote sensors, it became possible to study the Puerto Rico Trench in ways that had not been feasible before. During the 2002 and 2003 research missions, scientists used cutting-edge sonar equipment to create a detailed map of the trench's floor. They also deployed submersible vehicles, which descended into the depths to capture high-resolution images of the seafloor. These expeditions revealed much more than just the physical characteristics of the trench. They provided a clearer understanding of the geological forces at play, and in many ways, they laid the foundation for future research in the region. One of the most important discoveries during these early missions was the identification of the Milwaukee Deep, the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean. Before this, scientists knew that the Puerto Rico Trench was one of the deepest parts of the Atlantic, but they had never pinpointed the exact location of its deepest section. With the help of advanced sonar and depth sensing equipment, the research team was able to locate and measure the Milwaukee Deep, which reaches a depth of over 27,000 feet, deeper than many parts of the Pacific Ocean. This discovery was significant, not only because it confirmed the trench's status as the deepest part of the Atlantic, but also because it provided a fixed point of reference for future studies. The discovery of the Milwaukee Deep was a breakthrough, but it was far from the only important finding of these expeditions. As researchers continued to map the region, they also discovered a massive fault system running along the trench's floor. This fault system, strikingly similar to the San Andreas Fault in California, is responsible for much of the seismic activity in the region. The fact that a fault system so similar to the San Andreas Fault exists in the Puerto Rico Trench was a revelation for scientists. It explained why the region has been the source of so many powerful earthquakes in the past, and why it continues to be a major seismic hotspot. The presence of this fault system confirmed that the Puerto Rico Trench is not just a deep and mysterious area of the ocean. It is an active dynamic zone, where tectonic forces are constantly at work. The identification of the Milwaukee Deep and the discovery of the fault system were pivotal in reshaping scientific understanding of the Puerto Rico Trench. However, these missions also raised many new questions. While scientists had learned a great deal about the trench's structure and the tectonic activity taking place there, they had only begun to scratch the surface of what the trench held. There were still many unknowns, particularly when it came to understanding the full extent of the trench's seismic risks and the potential consequences of these geological events. In the years that followed, the Puerto Rico Trench became a focal point of scientific interest, and more research missions were planned. As technology continued to advance, so too did the ability to explore this deep-sea area. In 2015, the trench once again drew the attention of the scientific world, this time with one of the most advanced undersea missions ever conducted in the Atlantic. Led by the NOAA, and using the Okeanos Explorer, the expedition marked a significant leap forward in both the technology used and the depth of data collected. Unlike previous missions, this exploration was broadcast live to the public, allowing people around the world to watch in real time as researchers descended into the abyss. The 2015 mission was groundbreaking in several ways. For the first time, scientists were able to deploy remotely operated vehicles (ROV) that dove over 6,000 meters into the trench. These ROVs transmitted high-definition images of the seafloor, revealing an alien-like world of jagged rock formations, steep undersea cliffs, and narrow ridges that had never before been captured in such detail. The trench was far more complex than scientists had anticipated, and the terrain was far more unstable than they had ever imagined. The walls of the trench were steep and covered in loose rock, making it dangerous for deep-sea vehicles to explore. The visuals from the ROVs made it clear why the Puerto Rico Trench had long been avoided by exploration teams. One wrong move could cause entire sections of the trench's floor to collapse. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery made during the 2015 mission was the sound environment recorded at the bottom of the trench. Using deep-sea microphones, researchers captured eerie, low-frequency rumbles and groans that were unlike anything previously recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. These sounds were not just caused by marine life, but possibly by the Earth itself, as geological activity within the trench could be creating these unusual noises. The origin of these sounds remains a mystery, and scientists are still studying them to understand what exactly they signify. The 2015 exploration provided researchers with an unprecedented view of the trench's geology, but it also revealed a world that was far more active and unstable than anyone had previously understood. The Puerto Rico Trench is not just a dark, silent abyss. It is a highly dynamic and constantly changing environment shaped by powerful geological forces. It is a region where the Earth's crust is in constant motion, and where tectonic activity has the potential to trigger massive earthquakes and tsunamis that could have far-reaching consequences for the surrounding coastal areas. As the mission progressed, it became clear that the Puerto Rico Trench was far more than just a site of geological interest. It was also home to a range of unique and mysterious ecosystems. The researchers observed signs of life deep within the trench, including bioluminescent organisms that glowed in the dark, drifting like ribbons of light through the pitch-black waters. These creatures, adapted to the extreme conditions of the trench, were a startling reminder that life can thrive in even the harshest environments. But the discoveries made during these missions were not just about the creatures living in the trench. They also provided valuable insights into the geological processes that shape the Earth's crust. The Puerto Rico Trench is a complex zone, where tectonic plates interact in ways that have never been fully understood. The discoveries made during these early and recent missions have set the stage for future research, and they have opened the door to new questions about the forces at work beneath the Earth's surface. In many ways, the Puerto Rico Trench remains an enigma. While scientists have made significant strides in mapping the region and understanding its geological activity, there is still much to learn about this mysterious part of the ocean. As exploration continues and technology advances, it is likely that new and surprising discoveries will emerge, revealing even more about the forces shaping our planet. The Puerto Rico Trench is no longer the forgotten corner of the Atlantic. It is now a critical area of study for those seeking to understand the dynamic nature of Earth's geology and the potential risks posed by seismic activity in this region. The Puerto Rico Trench, once considered one of the most unexplored and misunderstood regions of the ocean, has now become a focal point for scientific discovery. While it was long thought that the trench was a lifeless abyss, recent explorations have revealed a vastly different reality. As researchers have delved deeper into this enigmatic part of the Atlantic Ocean, they have uncovered a thriving, unique ecosystem that exists in extreme conditions, where light cannot reach, and where pressure is crushing. This unexpected finding has not only changed our understanding of life in the ocean, but has also sparked new questions about the possibility of life. When scientists first ventured into the depths of the Puerto Rico Trench, they were unsure of what they would find. The trench's immense depth, combined with the total lack of light and the crushing pressure at its bottom, led many to believe that nothing could survive in such an environment. However, the more scientists explored, the more they discovered that life does in fact exist in the trench, and it thrives in ways that challenge our previous understanding of biology. What they found was nothing short of astonishing. Rather than finding barren, lifeless waters, the researchers discovered an abundance of bioluminescent creatures that produce their own light to navigate the total darkness of the trench. At first, these flashes of light were thought to be the result of equipment interference or malfunction. However, as the cameras on the deep-sea drones continued to capture more footage, it became clear that the lights were not malfunctioning devices, but bioluminescent organisms. These organisms, which glow in shades of green and blue, use their bioluminescence to communicate, attract prey, or camouflage themselves in the dark environment. Some of the creatures resembled drifting ribbons of silk, their translucent bodies shimmering in the pitch-black water. Others were more unusual, with transparent forms that revealed delicate internal structures, all of which glowed with an eerie, otherworldly light. One of the most mesmerizing discoveries in the Puerto Rico Trench was a deep-sea jellyfish, with glowing, umbrella-shaped bells and long, ghostly tentacles. These jellyfish moved through the water with graceful, fluid motions, their bioluminescence casting a ghostly glow in the surrounding darkness. These creatures are just one example of the strange and mysterious life forms that inhabit the trench. Despite the trench's extreme conditions, these organisms have adapted to survive in a place where very few other life forms could. Their ability to generate their own light is just one of the many adaptations they have developed to thrive in the trench's inhospitable environment. In addition to the bioluminescent creatures, researchers also discovered giant amphipods in the trench. Amphipods are small shrimp-like creatures that are typically found at shallow depths. However, the amphipods in the Puerto Rico Trench were much larger than their shallow water counterparts, with some measuring up to 30 centimeters long. These massive amphipods had powerful jaws and semi-translucent shells, and they were perfectly adapted to the high-pressure environment of the trench. Despite their eerie appearance, these amphipods play an important role in the trench's ecosystem, serving as natural recyclers by feeding on the organic material that sinks to the bottom of the ocean. By breaking down this material, they help maintain the delicate balance of the trench's ecosystem. But perhaps the most surprising discovery in the trench was not the creatures themselves, but the environment they inhabit. As the researchers explored the trench, they came across several hydrothermal vents, cracks in the Earth's crust where superheated water and minerals are released into the ocean. These hydrothermal vents are often found in deep-sea environments, and they provide a source of energy for the organisms that live nearby. What makes the Puerto Rico Trench unique, however, is the unexpected abundance of hydrothermal vents in this region. The warm mineral-rich water released by these vents serves as a lifeline for the organisms that live around them. Unlike ecosystems that rely on photosynthesis, the life forms around hydrothermal vents use a process called chemosynthesis to survive. Chemosynthesis is a process by which bacteria convert chemicals like hydrogen sulfide into energy, which in turn supports entire communities of life. Around these vents, giant tube worms, vent crabs, and colonies of filter-feeding organisms thrive, forming a rich and diverse ecosystem in the otherwise dark and hostile environment of the trench. This discovery has profound implications for our understanding of life on Earth. It proves that life can exist without sunlight, a concept that was once thought to be impossible. The organisms living around these hydrothermal vents rely entirely on chemosynthesis, rather than photosynthesis, to survive. This raises a fascinating question. If life can thrive in such extreme conditions on Earth, what are the possibilities for life on other planets or moons in our solar system? For example, the moon Europa, which orbits Jupiter, is thought to have an icy shell with an ocean beneath it. If similar hydrothermal vents exist on Europa, it could be a potential site for life beyond Earth. The discovery of such an ecosystem in the Puerto Rico Trench makes the possibility of life on other planets seem more plausible than ever before. The ecosystem in the Puerto Rico Trench is not just a scientific curiosity, it also holds practical significance for human health and biotechnology. Many of the organisms that live in the trench have developed unique adaptations to survive the extreme pressure, cold temperatures, and total darkness. These adaptations could one day be applied in medicine, biotechnology, and other fields. For example, some of the deep-sea bacteria found in the trench produce compounds that have shown promise in fighting antibiotic-resistant infections. Other organisms have developed flexible, gel-like substances that remain pliable even in freezing conditions, making them potential candidates for use in prosthetics or soft tissue repair. The potential applications of these deep-sea discoveries are vast, and as scientists continue to explore the trench, they may uncover even more organisms with properties that could benefit human health. As scientists continue to study the Puerto Rico Trench, they are not only uncovering new forms of life, but also gaining insight into the effects of human activity on the deep sea. During the 2015 mission, researchers documented widespread marine debris pollution on the trench's floor. Despite being thousands of meters below the surface, plastic fragments, pieces of metal, and even broken glass bottles were found scattered across the seafloor. This discovery highlights the far-reaching impact of human activity on the planet's most remote regions. Even in the deepest, most isolated parts of the ocean, pollution has found its way in.
This underscores the urgent need for global efforts to reduce plastic waste and prevent further contamination of the oceans. The researchers are now studying how this pollution spreads in the deep sea and how it affects the delicate ecosystems that thrive there. The Puerto Rico Trench, once a forgotten and mysterious part of the ocean, has revealed itself to be a vibrant and complex ecosystem. The discoveries made in recent years have changed the way we think about life in the ocean and have opened up new possibilities for future research. As technology continues to advance, there is no telling what new surprises the trench may hold. Each new discovery adds to our understanding of the forces at work beneath the Earth's surface and the resilience of life in even the most extreme environments. The Puerto Rico Trench is no longer just a deep, dark abyss. It is a living, breathing world that continues to surprise and challenge scientists at every turn. The latest research into the trench has only scratched the surface of what lies beneath, and as scientists continue to explore, we can expect even more discoveries to emerge. The trench is a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the planet, life finds a way to survive and thrive. The discoveries made in the Puerto Rico Trench are just the beginning, and they hold the promise of unlocking even greater mysteries about life, the Earth, and the universe beyond.